This is the NegusPedia Negranica. Today's word I want to focus on today in my soul, speaking from soul, today the word is enmity. 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 What is enmity? Enmity. A feeling or condition of hostility, hatred, ill will or animosity, antagonism. All right. So I'm gonna talk about this today. Historical enmity. And we have been talking about the pre-Columbian era of America for the past few days, and this is the problem I'm dealing with: enmity for certain peoples living in America. I mean, this is a diverse community with a lot of different multitudes of nations in America living amongst each other in the same area, okay? And everybody got different cultures and different ways about themselves. And we don't always see eye to eye, on issues. I know a lot of things about the pre-Columbian era of America. So I'm of the Native American spirit, okay, of the Indians, pre-Columbian peoples. And I found out more and more each day about the Olmecs. So that's what I want to talk about. And I did some research last night, and I already decided what I was going to say today. And I want to chronicle events from the time of Shishak, king of Egypt, to 1519, okay, with the Spanish Inquisition. That's what I'm having to deal with. Living in Central America, living near the Gulf of Mexico, okay, because I'm one of the historical people. I'm from the Aboriginal people who this land truly belongs to. The original inhabitants are here. And we are always encountering people of the European Renaissance, the European colonialism. And it's a conflict, it's enmity. If you were of the original bloodlines, you would have enmity in your heart for this new world order and this European Renaissance that's coming over here trying to Hellenize you and teach you something contrary to your beliefs. I'm trying to stay in the tradition of the Hebrews, living by the Ten Commandments. And this new world order and this European Renaissance they're pushing a homosexual agenda, which is contrary to all the beliefs of all Semitic religious people. That's contrary to our beliefs, and we are having a civil uprising or conflict is popping off. And this is like the 500th year since the Spanish Inquisition came into America and, destroyed the Aztecs, all of the Indian territories, the Maya, the Aztec, and the Inca. All of Mexico, and it's like Cinco de Mayo with me. Independence from Spain. And it's the Declaration of Independence. Independence from Great Britain. I mean, those have been the two enemies of our people, as well as the French and the Germans and all of the European nations are coming here trying to just erase the memory of the tradition of this country. So I want to focus on that today. And I know that the Olmecs are actually linked to the Phoenicians in Phoenicia. I have done a lot of research from the time of Shishak, king of Egypt. I'm going to read out the Bible about the historical record. I'm going to go to the first book of Kings, chapter 14. All right. It says, there was judgment on the house of Jeroboam. This is ancient literature from the Bible. 1 Kings 14. This is where the Phoenicians or the Olmecs came from. Okay. And this is where you got to find it. Here you go. At the time, Abijah, the son of Jeroboam, became sick, and Jeroboam said to his wife, "Please arise and disguise yourself, that they may not recognize you as the wife of Jeroboam, and go to Shiloh. Indeed, Ahijah, the prophet, is there. He told me that I would be king over his people, over this people. Also take with you 10 loaves, some cakes, and a jar of honey, and go to him. He will tell you what will become of the child." And Jeroboam's wife did so. She arose and went to Shiloh, and came to the house of Ahijah. But Ahijah could not see, for his eyes were gazed by reason of his age. Now the Lord had said to Ahijah, "Here is the wife of Jeroboam, coming to ask you something about her son, for he is sick. Thus you shall say to her, for it will be, when she comes in, that she will pretend to be another woman." And so it was, when Ahijah heard the sound of her footsteps as she came through the door, he said, "Come in, wife of Jeroboam. Why do you pretend to be another person? For I have been sent to you with bad news. Go tell Jeroboam, thus says the Lord God of Israel, because I exalted you from among the people, and made you rule over my people Israel, and tore the kingdom away from the house of David, and gave it to you. And yet you have not been as my servant David, who kept my commandments, and who followed me with all his heart, to do only what was right in my eyes. But you have done more evil than all who were before you. For you have gone and made for yourselves other gods and molded images to provoke me to anger, and have cast me behind your back. Therefore, behold, I will bring disaster on the house of Jeroboam, and will cut off from Jeroboam every male in Israel, bond and free. I will take away the remnant of the house of Jeroboam, as one takes away refuse until it's all gone. The dogs shall eat whoever belongs to Jeroboam and dies in the city, and the birds of the air shall eat whoever dies in the field, for the Lord has spoken. Arise, therefore go to your own house. When your feet enter the city, the child shall die. And all Israel shall mourn for him and bury him, for he is the only one of Jeroboam who shall come to the grave, because in him there is found something good toward the Lord God of Israel in the house of Jeroboam. Moreover, the Lord will raise up for himself a king over Israel, who shall cut off the house of Jeroboam. This is the day, what even now, for the Lord will strike Israel. As a reed is shaken in the water, he will uproot Israel from its good land, which he gave to their fathers, and will scatter them beyond the river, because they have made their wooden images, provoking the Lord to anger. And he will give Israel up because of the sins of Jeroboam, who sinned and who made Israel sin. Then Jeroboam's wife arose and departed and came to Tirzah. When she came to the threshold of the house, the child died, and they buried him. And all Israel mourned for him, according to the word of the Lord, which he spoke through his servant Ahijah, the prophet. The death of Jeroboam. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, how he made war and how he reigned, indeed they are written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel. The period that Jeroboam reigned was 22 years. So he rested with his fathers. Then Nadab, his son, reigned in his place. Rehoboam reigns in Judah. And Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. So this is the Solomonic dynasty. Reigned in Judah. Rehoboam was 41 years old when he became king. He reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which the Lord had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. His mother's name was Naamah, and Ammonitis from Ammon, across the Jordan. Okay. Now Judah did evil in the sight of the Lord, and they provoked him to jealousy with their sins which they committed. More than all that their fathers had done, for they also built for themselves high places. sacred pillars and wooden images on every high hill and under every green tree. And there was also perverted persons in the land. They did according to all the abominations of the nations which the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel. Okay, start right there. There were perverted people in the land, and that's what I feel is going on in this society I live in today. When they're promoting a homosexual agenda every day. And I feel like I am a man of God, speaking from my soul. I'm living in a society trying to live right by the Ten Commandments, following God like King David followed them. Like the ancestor Anak followed God and walked with God for 300 years. I'm trying to live my life right, but I'm living in a society that has perverted people here running the government as senators and mayors who are in a homosexual agenda. And it's contrary to, I can't live here like this. Like they're trying to make you live and serve them who are perverted people. So I'm going to go back into this story in Kings 14:24. It says, and there were also perverted persons in the land, and they did according to all the abominations of the nations which the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel. So it happened in the 5th year of King Rehoboam that Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem. And he took away the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house. Who is the king? This is Solomon's horse, King Solomon. And I made another breakthrough. King Solomon, I believe, is a pharaoh called Simon. In the Annals of the Kings of Egypt, it tells me Simon is Simon. Look at the late period, 1075 through 664 BC. 21st dynasty. With high priest of Ammon ruling Thebes, ruling the best as virtual kings. This Simon is 979 through 959 BC. It's the same period. So I believe Simon is the biblical Solomon. And who preceded him was Persusenes the first, who I believe could have been King David. His real name, before the Hellenism over the land of Egypt. Before the Greeks took these same stories and translated into English. That's why I have enmity in my heart for those European nations who are trying to govern us today. All right, go back into Kings. When Shishak came to Jerusalem and took all the treasures out of Egypt. It happened in the 5th year of King Rehoboam that Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem and took away the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house. Took away everything. He also took away all the gold shields which Solomon had made. Then King Rehoboam made bronze shields in their place and committed them to the hands of the captains of the guard who guarded the doorway of the king's house. And whenever the king entered the house of the Lord, the guards carried them, then brought them back into the guard room. Now the rest of the acts of Rehoboam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all their days. So Rehoboam rested with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. His mother's name was Naamah and Ammonitis, across the Jordan, in modern day Jordan today. Then Abisham, his son, reigned in his place. So this is the beginning of the enmity, when the house of Solomon was divided. When Israel was divided, Israel are the people of the book Who America Belongs To. And we're going to